Ari Aster is back, and this time he's not bringing the occult or grief-stricken psychological horror or even surreal mommy issues. Instead, he's tackling America itself. Pandemic-era politics, cultural division, and small-town unrest, all in a sun-drenched, anxiety-soaked black comedy contemporary western. Eddington is as ambitious and polarizing as anything he's made, but this time I'm left somewhere in the middle.
Keep your own office going, but you're gonna run mine.
So we vote Joe Cross, take back our community.
Hell yeah.
Save our soul.
Your pain is not a coincidence. You are not a coincidence. We
are not a coincidence.
What is going on?
We need to free each other's hearts.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about Eddington, the latest A24 film from Ari Aster, one of my favorite directors of the last decade thanks to Hereditary and Midsommar. Even Beau is Afraid, as chaotic as it was, worked for me. But Eddington, it's easily his most grounded film and also my least favorite. There's a lot to admire here, from the performances to the themes, but it's also bloated, uneven, and loses its focus halfway through. Let's break it down. Before we get into the plot, real quick, if you enjoyed these reviews, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, I've got a Patreon. For just $1 a month, you can help keep things running, and for $5 a month, you can even request a review. The link's in the description. In May of 2020, a tense standoff between a small-town sheriff played by Joaquin Phoenix and the mayor played by Pedro Pascal ignites a powder keg in Eddington, New Mexico, where neighbor is pitted against neighbor in a community already stretched thin by the pandemic. As tensions escalate over mandates, civil rights, and racial justice protests, two opposing ideologies threaten to rip the town apart. Meanwhile, Emma Stone and Austin Butler play characters involved in a loosely connected subplot that never quite reaches the same dramatic weight. Let's start with the positives, because there's a lot to appreciate even if the final product didn't fully land for me. First off, the performances are phenomenal across the board. Joaquin Phoenix continues to be one of the most consistently fascinating actors working today. He plays this deeply flawed sheriff who's battling both personal health issues and a need to assert control over his town. It's a character that could have easily been a caricature, but Phoenix brings nuance, pain, and stubbornness in equal measure. Pedro Pascal is also great in his quieter, more measured role as the mayor. He brings a calm authority and moral conviction, but also exhaustion. You really feel the toll of leadership on him. But even then, he's not perfect in how he carries himself outside of the view of the public. I just wish there had been more of him. Their few scenes together are charged with tension and grounded realism. I also really appreciated the way Aster tackled the cultural and political landscape of 2020. He doesn't simplify it or pick a side, instead he exposes the flaws, fears, and contradictions on both ends of the spectrum. Whether it's anti-mask rhetoric, racial tensions, protest violence, or government overreach, he handles it all with a surprisingly restrained tone. Until he doesn't. Visually, the movie is gorgeous. Aster and cinematographer Paweł Pogorzelski continue their streak of stunning compositions, with wide-open desert landscapes that contrast with the claustrophobia of quarantine and civil unrest. The sound design is sharp too, especially in the more intense sequences. And yes, when the violence does hit, it's as brutal and operatic as you'd expect from Aster. There's a third-act shootout that's just absolutely unhinged in the best way. It's gruesome, chaotic, and feels almost like the breaking point the whole movie's been tiptoeing toward. But now here's where Eddington started to lose me, and unfortunately the list is pretty substantial. Let's start with Emma Stone and Austin Butler. They're both talented actors, and I was excited to see what they'd bring to this ensemble, but their subplot feels totally detached. It plays out almost like an alternate short film happening in the margins of the main story. Their characters lack depth, their motivations are murky, and the narrative doesn't give them enough to do. If you remove their entire storyline, the film would still largely function the same, just shorter and more focused. Then there's the pacing. The first half sets up this tense ideological conflict that had me hooked, but after a key character dies, the movie takes a sharp detour. The tone changes, the pacing slows to a crawl, and it almost feels like the movie's unsure what it wants to say anymore. It becomes less about interpersonal tension and more about chaos and commentary, but the storytelling just can't sustain the shift. And then lastly, and maybe most importantly, the runtime just really drags. It's bloated with scenes that don't build character or tension and instead feel like indulgent world building or mood setting. I'm all for atmospheric storytelling, but here it borders on exhausting. There's a tighter, more effective version of this movie buried somewhere under the excess. So Eddington is bold, thoughtful, and visually striking as you'd expect from Ari Aster, but it's also bloated, inconsistent, and emotionally distant. It doesn't have the tight storytelling of Hereditary, the creeping dread of Midsommar, or even the unhinged ambition of Beau is Afraid. It's ambitious in scope, but not always in execution. Still, I respect the swing. Aster is never afraid to challenge his audience, and while this might be his most divisive film yet, it's one that people will definitely be talking about. I'm giving Eddington a 3 out of 5. Have you seen Eddington yet? Did it work for you? Or did it leave you just as conflicted? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, especially where you land on the Ari Aster ranking. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. And if you want to support what I do, check out my Patreon. It's just $1 a month to chip in, and $5 a month lets you request a review of your own. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.